I would like to open this conversation by stating that it's well against my better judgment to engage in something like this. But before leaving your memo, I couldn't help noticing that you seemed quite upset, perhaps even in need of an emotional punching bag to relieve the pent-up stress. I'm sure you don't find me deserving of sympathy anyway.
Oh! I was under the impression that you didn't care for me, you patronizing prick!
That was most certainly the impression I gave, yes. However, even the most patronizing of us can stand to admit when they are wrong.
And what exactly did you find yourself wrong about? Do you have a set list of logical points? Remember, arguments are totally worthless unless they sound stuffy and rational enough. Never mind the fact that you don't even take half a second to hear them out.
Do you intend to goad me with my own words for the duration of this exchange? Or would you like to know why I've decided to degrade myself by coming to you?
I don't know. Starting to really like the sound of goading.
Then I'll make my intentions clear. I want your help.
Yeah? Well, I want a lot of things. Most of which I can't even begin to explain to you. Pretty sure I can never get this kind of yearning through your thick skull and stiff lower lip. Congratulations on being so blessed, by the way. You sure have drawn a lucky lot in life, Mr. Kyrian. But you're not blessed enough for me to want any secondhand consecrations you have to offer. If anything, I'm losing precious time just for entertaining the notion that I'd ever help you in the first place.
Do you want an apology? Does that rank somewhere in your long list of desires?
No. I know you wouldn't mean it.
What makes you so sure? This isn't the past. It's the present.
It's been an hour and a half.
My point still stands. Talking this over is in your best interest. In return, I can offer what you want most. And I don't need you to tell me what that is. I can plainly see what's at the top of your list.
So you want to pretend you know anything about me? After what you said? After jerking me around like an idiot? Sorry, pal, but that monorail left the station a while ago.
I had more than enough reason to be skeptical. But upon reflection, the weight of what you said in your memo did strike me. I see now what I was missing then.
I already tried to help you. You were the one who left, not me. I have no obligation to you.
Do you not? It seems to me that you feel like it's your job to assist all of us in getting to our shared destination. And given how you tried to handle that memo of yours, I'd wager that's not the kind of duty you have any interest in shirking. I know you better than you might think. What you crave most is to be known and accepted without question or compromise. And I understand what that feels like.
Do you? Do you understand what it's like to be me? Do you know what it's like to be hunted because of your blood? Because of something completely outside of your control? Isolated from those you care about? Used?
I was despised the moment they decided to make me. The shade of the Kyrian bloodline is symbolic of war, of genocide and scandal. My very existence is controversy.
Must be really nice to feel sorry for yourself in your fancy underwater mansion.
I don't mean to imply my heritage didn't come with certain benefits, I suppose you could say. There was even a time when its bloody history didn't affect me at all. I had a man that I looked up to, a friend who tried to show me reasons to continue moving forward, and a moral who cherished me despite my past. But then I discovered that the man who I looked up to never cared for me in the first place. The friend secludes himself inside his own home, cutting off all contact without warning and abandoning me. No explanations given. And the moral, he finds you, and decides that he needs you more than he ever needed me. You know these people just as well.
All I know is that you like to rag on girls for no reason and try to convince others to do the same, just because you think you were wronged weeks ago.
Wasn't I? Is it not wrong for one of the few people I cared about to leave me because he found someone else? I don't blame you for his own choices, of course, and I don't blame you for not being inclined to see my side of the story. My distaste for your identity group is not due to a misguided sense of superiority, like the mudslingers would have you believe. You are only part of it by happenstance.
Man, you're really selling your point here.
Let's go back to the personal then. What will you do when you are seen as the problem? When you are deemed too demanding, not enough, a burden? Koliad always spoke highly of you, despite all the rumors. But what will happen once he gets what he wants? What will you do when Vurat retreats back into the comfort of his own shadow, casting you aside? What will you do when Turkin finally decides to pull the trigger and there's no one there to watch?
OC as an architect would never do that!
They had no problem doing it to me. You said that book of yours was a gift from someone close, correct? Perhaps it's a slightly unorthodox assumption in this day and age, but I can't think of anyone closer than a blood relative, especially in our respective cases. Was it your ancestor?
Yeah.
Then let me ask you this. Does this knowledge burden you?
I don't know if burden is the word I'd use. It helped me a lot growing up, especially all the stuff about thaumaturgy and what she thought the future would be like. I kind of just thought it was a bunch of fun stories for most of my life. But once I learned that it really meant something, I admit, it got a lot harder for me to grapple with. I keep rereading certain passages over and over, and it still doesn't all connect. But I know I have to figure it out.
I myself am also immensely familiar with my own ancestor. Burdensome is the word I would use to describe my affiliation with him. The only knowledge he bestowed upon me was the certainty that our culture was rotten from the inside. He wanted to control it. He demanded respect, and as such, would kill for it. He's the reason I strive to undo the malaise our planet is mired in. I want to find a way to create a better world. A world without duplicitous overseers that claim they work for good. A world run by trolls who have learned through pain, who have toiled through grief in order to craft something more than themselves. A society built on the idea that there is a way forward, and that anyone can earn their honest keep. This game will take that chance from Repeton, but with our knowledge combined, with the wisdom that our burdens have imparted on us, it will also make way for the acceptance that we strive for. We can take what remains of our world and mold it into something more, something better. Entrust me with this information from now on, and I promise you I will not rest until I see this through.
I don't know.
Don't you miss it, Ellsee? The days when we were all together, united as an unsectioned clique? We can bring that back. This game can be used as a conduit for us to fix this. My only wish is to make us stronger, to make us whole again.
I really don't know. This sounds very nice on paper, but I just can't see it working out like you're describing in practice. There are things in this book that I don't understand at all, even after sweeps of dedicated study. Probably some things that we shouldn't know. Besides, I've spent so long trying to protect it from others. Maybe it's not worth the risk. It could be better to just leave it alone after this.
These are starkly critical circumstances that we find ourselves in. I know it feels like pressure, but my urging comes from an honest place. There's no use worrying about protecting information that may help us when we already are in dire straits. You know, in the corporate world, there's a saying we use when one has a leg up on the others around them.
You snooze, you lose?
No. It's just business.
Well, when you put it that way, I guess this doesn't leave me with much of a choice, does it?
Nonsense. There's always a choice. And I believe you'll make the right one.
Okay. You've got a deal.
Excellent. But before we discuss this further, hold for a moment. I see something in the distance.